Warm-up session and be ready to go racing. Outside, Ed Meredith and Dennis Miller make up row 2. Then Chuck Burkhalter and Ronnie Roach, Randy Sargent and Sid Stites. Jim Castleberry is out of the event. Keith Storms will move up a spot as we look for the green flag from starter Johnny Bass. Green is out. We're racing. It's David Russell with the early lead out of turn number 2. In the 27, we've got one car into the backstretch wall. Ronnie Roach, he is tangled by another car involved as well. 4, 5, 6, 7 cars, it looks like, involved in this one. One or two of those cars made hard contact with the inside wall. Ronnie Roach was the first car to get into it. He hit the turn 2 wall, bounced off in front of the pack. Car moving back on the speedway, the 8 machine of Anatoly Pivovansky. He's out of it and okay. Bruce Lawrence is involved in the 16. He was hit by several cars and ended up in the wall. The X1 machine over there involved as well. Randy Sargent. The 17X machine also involved. That's the Matt Bentz car. I believe we've got one other car down on that inside wall as well. I cannot see that, though, from here. South Beloit, Illinois, and Beloit, Wisconsin, both involved in that accident. He got it both front and rear. Okay, here we go. Looking for a green flag. Green is out. We're racing. And it's David Russell jumping out to the early lead. Pete Orr and Ed Meredith set to fight it out for a second. Orr slides up a little bit high. Meredith moves into the second spot. Orr now dives into third. Chuck Burkhalter running fourth. With David Russell in the number 36, Ed Meredith in second. Pete Orr holding down the third spot, then it's Burkhalter. Dennis Miller in the 43, Sid Stites in the 18, and Jim Castleberry in the 88. Running second, Ed Meredith in the 25, Pete Orr in third in the 27. Those 3 cars have started to put some distance on the rest of the field right now. Chuck Burkhalter to 30, running all by himself in the 4th spot. Here's a challenge for 5th and a change. As we got a car in the wall over in turns 3 and 4, Joe Kopus in the 97. Joe Kopus in the number 97 has got into the wall in between turns 3 and 4. So caution out with 5 laps complete. David David Russell, your leader. His teammate Ed Meredith right behind him. Pedor, the 27, runs third. The green is out. We're racing. Russell once again begins to assert his lead. The top three cars begin to pull away from the rest of the field. The number 30 machine of Chuck Burkhalter is starting to show some smoke. Sid Stites in the 18 trying to make a pass as the 30 machine is slowing considerably. Battle going on for second as Pedor is working over the 25 car of Ed Meredith. Burkhalter and Stites still having to go at it back there for the fourth spot. Meanwhile, David Russell continues to put distance between himself and his teammate Ed Meredith. Some heavy lap traffic. Set to move around the 3 machine of Curtis Miller. Still a good battle going on for fourth between the 30 of Chuck Burkhalter and the 18 of Sid Stites. They've been joined by Dennis Miller, Jim Castleberry, and Donnell Burkhalter Jr. A good one right now. 4 cars set to go and a little bumping going on there as Miller gets loose. He and Castleberry race side by side right now. That battle going on about a half lap behind your leader, David Russell. And we've got a car into the wall. Terry Cater in the number 2. Getting into the inside wall here on the front straightaway. Terry Cater apparently is okay. Coming out of the car, another wild ride here on the front straightaway. Here we go, looking for a green flag. Green is out. We're racing. Donnell Burkhalter Jr. getting a big jump from back in the pack. It passes 3 cars. We got another one sliding around. Nick Smith in the 24. Nick Smith in the 24 spinning around brings out the caution once again. Out. We're racing. David Russell once again moving back into the lead. Ed Meredith in second. Pedor in third. They start to draw away already from your 4th place car with Chuck Burkhalter. moves back around Jim Castleberry for a position. Here's your leader, David Russell. And he looks like he's got things well in hand right now. Sid Stites still trying to put the move on Chuck Burkhalter in the 30. They've been battling it out for several laps now. Dennis Miller right behind them. Stites gets away loose in turn 3, but he brings it back in. Here's a battle for second in lap traffic. Pete Orr trying to find some room underneath the 25 car of Meredith. Pete Orr trying to move up from that third spot. The battle for fourth continues to wage hot and heavy as Stites is right back on the rear bumper of the 30 car Chuck Burkhalter again. The laps are starting to wind down now. David Russell has moved it out to almost half a straightaway over your second place car of Ed Meredith. Next time around there'll be 2 laps to go. Lap to go signal set to come out for your leader, David Russell. And Russell is off the pace. Russell has slowed down. Teammate Ed Meredith almost ran into him. The 2 lap to go signal is out. We've got a battle for the lead. Pete Orr working on the high side. Ed Meredith on the low side. Pete Orr makes the pass going into turn 3. Pete Orr moves into the lead as the white flag is set to come out. 1 lap to go. Pete Orr. Pete Orr is your leader in the number 27. David Russell still running slowly on the back straightaway. And caution on the speedway. Caution on the speedway as Russell's car blocking the low groove into turn 3. Just coasting into that corner. During our World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing, however, he didn't take home the point title. Fell out of a couple of races, and the consistency of Pete Starr led him to that title. Pete, however, not competing this year. Looking for the green flag. Green is out. We're racing. Right now to the checkered flag, Pete Orr and Ed Meredith, all by their lonesome, going through 3 and 4. Down for the checkered flag, your winner will be Pete Orr. Ed Meredith takes second. Chuck Burkhalter in for third. Dennis Miller takes the 4th spot. Donnell Burkhalter Jr. finishes 5th. Jim Castleberry in for 6th. And the 114 of Dickie Coleman takes 7th spot. Coming out on the speedway once again. Yeah, the Automotive One logo become part of this scenario downstairs. Pete Orr in the West Florida Corvette Center's Corey Racing engine special. There he is, everybody. Pete Orr, your winner. Yeah, the number 27. Once again, don't forget that we'll have time trials for the late models and modifieds tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Racing action begins promptly at 8. Please drive carefully on your way home or back to your motel or wherever. McCory will be in the 72 as he moves to the front of the pack. Yeah, the 114. It'll be Dickie Coleman. Dennis Miller will be at the wheel of the number 43. Donnell Burkhalter Jr. in the 31. Ed Meredith in the number 25. Chuck Burkhalter in the 30. The X2 will be John Gentry. Pete Orr in the number 27, Nick Smith in the 24, Joe Copas in the 97, Sid Stites in the 18, Ken Certain in the number 23. Curtis Miller in the 3, Bill Kinley in the 17. The 45 is Ron Pettis. Curtis Miller in the 3, Bill Kinley in the 17. Buddy Woodford in the 12, the 17X, the gray and white car, is Matt Mintz. Tonight, the 36 of David Russell had trouble. They are changing a motor in that car. He is not with us tonight. Last night's feature winner, Pete Orr, starts back in 10th as the green flag is out. We're racing. And it's Eddie Harton out to the early lead. Some bumping and banging going on. One car hard into the wall. Another car into him, and it looks like everybody else will make it through. It's Sid Stites in the 18 car. He just bumped Lee Pavonsky in the 8, and Orlando, Florida driver, Donnell Burkhalter Jr. in row number 2. As we look for a green, and we get it. Green is out. We're racing. Still very, very crowded. Down the back straightaway through the speedy dry, Eddie Harton takes over the lead. A lot of bumping and banging still going on. One car high up near the wall, Chuck Burkhalter, he gathers it back in. Here's a challenge for the lead, and Donnell Burkhalter Jr. moves around the 77 car of Harton. Now Donnell Burkhalter Jr. out front. Harton in second. Okari running in the 3rd spot. Pavonsky 4th, getting a challenge from Chuck Burkhalter and Dennis Miller. With 3 laps down, Donnell Burkhalter Jr. continues to start to put some distance on the rest of the field. Some of the faster cars from last night have been unable to really move out of the pack yet, which has been advantageous to Burkhalter. Down into turn 3, Eddie Harton still running in the 2nd spot. Tom McCurry running 3rd. Pavonsky in the 4th spot. Lap car coming into play here. Darrell Coles, number 76, allows Pete Orr to make a move on Pavonsky, and also Chuck Burkhalter in the 30 coming up through the field now. The lead currently with the 31 machine of Donnell Burkhalter Jr. And some banging going on in the back straightaway again. Everybody appears to have made it through okay. A challenge now for second as Chuck Burkhalter trying to make it a Burkhalter sweep here up front. He puts a challenge on Eddie Harton, and Chuck Burkhalter moves into 3rd behind his brother in the 31. Pete Orr, last night's winner, moves right there with him. And those 2 cars are now on the move. Eddie Harton drops back into the 4th spot. Donnell Burkhalter Jr., your leader, has about a full straightaway on the 2nd place car of his brother, Chuck Burkhalter. Chuck Burkhalter and Pete Orr put a lap on the 7 machine of McNair. Here's your leader, Donnell Burkhalter Jr. Battle for second with Pete Orr in the 27, trying to get around the 30 of Chuck Burkhalter. Orr making a challenge into 3, still can't pull off the pass. And caution on the speedway. Caution, we've got a car spun in 1 and 2. Car 17 of Matt Ben spinning right in front of your leader, Donald Burkhalter Jr. So a break for Chuck Burkhalter, Pete Orr. And now Ed Meredith of Donald Burkhalter Jr. and Chuck Burkhalter leading the way. Pete Orr makes a move around the lap machine of Tom Slattery. He's your third place car as the green flag comes out. Ed Meredith trying to make a move on the 77 of Eddie Harton to take over the 4th spot. Here's a challenge for second. Pete Orr trying to find a way around the 30 car of Chuck Burkhalter. It was Orr who last night was running behind the team cars from Champion TV and Appliance Rentals and ended up winning the race after both had problems. Similar situation in effect here tonight. Donald Burkhalter Jr. appears to have the faster of those two Murky's cars, and he has begun to pull away once again. Just 7 laps to go now. 7 laps to go. Pete Orr trying to find some room on the high groove to get around Chuck Burkhalter. There, nose to tail out of turn number 2. Pete Orr looks way low. Chuck Burkhalter scoots down to cover. This time we've got 5 laps to go and a challenge for second. As Pete Orr looks to the high side of the 30 machine of Chuck Burkhalter. Trying to break up the family parade here, and this time it appears as Pete Orr has the advantage. Let's watch about a turn 4. Pete Orr in the number 27, and Chuck Burkhalter dead heat that time across the line. Burkhalter's car handling quite well, especially down low on the racetrack where you need it to handle better than any place else. We've got 3 laps remaining. And here comes Ed Meredith into the picture now, the number 25 machine. He is slowly reeled in your second place battle. And now makes it a 3-way chase for the money. 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go on Donald Burkhalter Jr. Chuck Burkhalter in the 30, trying to hold off the number 27 of Pete Orr and the 25 of Ed Meredith. The white flag is out. We've got 1 lap remaining. Let's watch this battle for second down to the wire. Lap cars in front of them, I don't think they'll become a problem for them. Pete Orr moves up into the second spot as the checkered flag comes out for Donald Burkhalter Jr. Pete Orr takes second, Chuck Burkhalter third, Ed Meredith in for 4th. 5th spot going to Eddie Harton, 6th to Anatoly Pavlovansky. Tom McCurry taking 7th, with 8th to Dennis Miller in the number 43. Italy. Car is also sponsored by New World Automotive. We'll line them up nose to tail here. Here's your winner, Donald Burkhalter Jr. And your third place finisher, Chuck Burkhalter. They sort of made a sandwich, a Burkhalter sandwich out of Pete Orr. As Pete Orr, your winner last night, takes the second spot this evening. Here comes the big boot. A big Justin boot from Skip Shoes and Boots with 4 locations in Central Florida, including, of course, that one right across the street from the Daytona International Speedway. We've got lots more stuff to give away from Skips and some other things tomorrow night as well, some more free passes, so do not throw your ticket stubs away tomorrow when you move into the Speedway tomorrow. Also a reminder to take all your personal belongings with you tonight. Do not leave any blankets or chairs or your children or anything else at the Speedway tonight. Anatoly Pivovansky in the 8. Eddie Harton in the 77, Dennis Miller in the 43, Chuck Burkhalter in the 30, Pete Orr in the 27, Ed Meredith in the 25, Bill Kinley the 17, Nick Smith in the 24, Bruce Lawrence in the 16 cars. We look for a green flag. Green is out. We're race A. The end of the early lead. It is John Gentry in the X2. Anatoly Pivovansky takes over the second spot. And Miller now on the outside moves into third. Kopis drops back to fourth. Now is passed by Pete Orr in the 27. John Gentry pulls out several car lengths now on your second place battle. Miller now working to the high side of Pivovansky into turn 3, and Miller will take over the lead, the second spot. A couple of cars tangling up in turn 3. Eddie Harton with some problems in the 77 car. Hooks it up with Bruce Lawrence momentarily. Meanwhile, your battle now is for third as Pete Orr works on the high side of Pivovansky, trying to move around and into that third spot. John Gentry is your leader. He moves into lap traffic for the first time in the race, going around Darrell Cole in the 76 as Eddie Harton takes the number 77 into the pit area. John Gentry trying to become our third different winner in 3 nights, and so far he has been unchallenged. 2 cars tangling up over in 3 and 4. Chuck Burkhalter and Tom Corey. Corey apparently with a flat tire. Now the car appears to be okay, just a little unstable as he came out of the turn 4 area. Another challenge now mounting for the 4th spot as Ed Meredith moves in to challenge Pivovansky. Here's your leader, John Gentry in the X2. Dennis Miller running second. The 27 of Pete Orr is your third place car. Slattery in the 19X. John Gentry out of South Beloit, Illinois, your leader. Dennis Miller, also out of South Beloit, Illinois. Run second, and Gentry is off the pace. John Gentry with problems. Dennis Miller just about ran him over in turn 2. So the early leader is headed for pit side, the X2 car with problems. The lead now with the 43 of Dennis Miller. Opening night winner Pete Orr trailing him, although Orr's car looks like it may have a little smoke trailing it right now. Pivovansky still runs in the third spot in front of Meredith. Stuck in behind the lap car now, moves up to the high side to make the pass. Meredith tries to find some racing room as well, but Pivovansky will get around Slattery for the spot. Up front still, Dennis Miller at the halfway point, leading Pete Orr in the number 28 27. Here's Pivovansky in the 8th car. As Meredith in the 25 puts the challenge on. They've got the slower machine of Eddie Harton in front of them. Harton's car smoking rather severely. Here's the battle for the lead. Back to the stripe. Still, Dennis Miller out front. Fedor running second. Tom Autori in the number 72 is your 5th place car. Just in front of Chuck Burkhalter, Bruce Lawrence, and the X1 machine of Randy Sargent. Battle for the lead into turn 1. Fedor looks down on the inside, now looks high, looks low again. This time may try to make the move. Out of turn number 2, gets a fender alongside, but he's outpowered down the back straightaway by Miller. Laps beginning to wind down in this one. A great 2-car battle up front. They have left the rest of the field in their wake right now. Dennis Miller, his car not handling quite as well in the corners, but it certainly has the power down the straightaway. That battle for first, a good battle for third as well with 5 laps to go. 5 laps remaining. One car a little sideways on the front straightaway, the 17X machine of Matt Bentz, but he gets it back underway again. Lead battle one more time. Fedor able to get a fender alongside coming out of the corner. Here's a battle for the 5th spot. Out of turn number 4, Bruce Lawrence down on the inside, trying to make the pass of Tom Autori in the number 72. And they spin and tangle over in turn 2. One car down through the water puddles over there. That's Chuck Burkhalter in the 30. Tom Autori and Bruce Lawrence getting together in turn 2 as they battle for the 5th spot. We're going to try to get things back under green this time around. Started Johnny Bass looking him over. The green flag held high. It waves, and we're racing. And a possible change in second. Yes, Fedor is off the pace. Fedor's car apparently not going into gear, and he is off the pace, so Ed Meredith has moved up into the 2nd spot. Pivovansky now runs in 3rd. Sargent in the 4th position.
Is 30 down at all?
Your leader is Dennis Miller. Dennis Miller in the number 43, but quickly moving up on him now is local area track hot shoe at Meredith. They all battle it out over the last 2 laps as the 2-lap to go signal is out. 2 laps remaining. Meredith right on the back bumper of Dennis Miller now. They have left the 3rd place car of Anatoly Pivovansky well behind. The white flag is out. 1 lap to go. Once again, Miller able to outpower his rivals down the front straightaway. That car with a little bit of a push through turns 1 and 2. They put a lap on the 27 car of Fedor. And coming down, looking for the checkered flag, your winner will be Dennis Miller. 2nd spot to Ed Meredith, across the line for 3rd, Anatoly Pivovansky. 4th going to Randy Sargent. 5th to Bill Kinley. 6th to the 17 machine of Matt Bentz. 7th to the 30 of Chuck Burkhalter, and 8th to the number 97 machine of Joe Kopas. From Beloit, Illinois.
Okay,
Beautiful racing machine. There goes the Automotive One logo out there. Automotive One, of course, one of our fine sponsors. They have parts stores located all throughout Central Florida. Anywhere you go, you'll find an Automotive One parts store. Anything you need, they've got it right there for you. It's great to know that you can trust those people, especially a lot of you who are here from the cold north and other parts of the country. If you've got a problem with your car, you need parts, you need something, Automotive One is there to help you. Let's hear it for your winner, Dennis Miller. Dennis Miller, everybody, your winner in your limited late model feature event for tonight. Here comes that big Justin boot from Skip Shoes and Boots out. The boot of success. John Gentry. Beloit, Illinois. Joe Copus out of Port Orange, Florida will be in the 97. Bill Kinley out of Osteen, Florida in the number 17. Last night's feature winner, Dennis Miller out of South Beloit, Illinois will be in the 43. Tom Corey in the number 72 out of East Norwalk, Connecticut. He'll be in the 72. Eddie Harton out of Lakeland, Florida will be in the 77. Chuck Burkhalter will be in the number 30. That is one of the Murky's Auto Parts machines. In the number X1, that will be Randy Sargent out of Beloit, Wisconsin. Ed Meredith will be in the number 25 machine. That's the Champion TV and Appliance Rental Special out of Orlando. Meredith Racing, of course, out of Longwood, Florida. In the number 27 out of Clermont, Florida, the West Florida Corvette Center Special for Pete Orr, the winner on our opening night here. In the number 31, he picked up the feature on night number 2, another one of the Murky's Auto Parts Specials for Donnell Burkhalter Jr. Curtis Miller will be in the number 3, and after our hot lap session, we will set the rest of the field for you. Will be in the number 2, and Buddy Whitford out of Daytona Beach will be in the 12 as we look for a green flag from starter Johnny Bass. The green is out and we're racing. It is John Gentry into the early lead in the X2 machine. Gentry, who had the race sewed up last night with just a few laps to go when his car quit on him, has pulled already into a pretty good lead here at the beginning of our 20-lapper for the limited late models. A lot of dicing going on into the turn 1 area. We've got one car sliding around. Gathering it back in, though, nicely is Chuck Burkhalter in the number 30 as he battles now with Pete Orr for position number 8. Here comes your leader, John Gentry in the X2. Nick Smith still in second as once again one of the Burkhalter cars getting into trouble out of turn 4. That is Donnell Burkhalter Jr. He loses several positions in that shuffle. Nick Smith continues to run second. Kinley doing a fine job holding third. Copus runs fourth. And then it's the 43 machine of Miller and the 72 of Akuri battling it out for the 5th spot. Miller now works on the high side of the 97 machine of Copus and takes over the 4th spot. So Dennis Miller now running in 4th position. But currently your leader, and he is making a runaway of it right now, the X2 of John Gentry. And caution on the speedway as Eddie Harton spins around in turn 1. Eddie Harton in the 77 machine spins around in the turn 1 area. Fortunately not able to do it quite yet, so we'll go one more lap around. Looking to go back to green. The green is out and we are racing. 3 wide, back in the pack, going into turn 1. Ed Meredith makes the most of it. As Gentry slipped a little bit high that time out of turn 2. Here comes Miller in the 43 car trying to take the 2nd spot away. And the South Beloit, Illinois drivers now run 1st and 2nd. Smith back to 3rd. Kinley runs 4th. And here come Meredith and Orr blasting up through the field. Also back there, Randy Sargent making a move as well in the X1 car. Meredith makes the move around Kinley, and so does the 27 of Pete Orr. They now run in 4th and 5th respectively. As Buddy Whitford pulls off the track in the number 12 car. The leader is John Gentry. Dennis Miller running 2nd. Here's your challenge for 3rd. Ed Meredith moving on the inside of Nick Smith brings the 27 machine of Pete Orr right with him. They now run in the 3rd and 4th position, and here on the move now, Randy Sargent in the X1. He takes the 5th spot away from Nick Smith. Donnell Burkhalter Jr. also on the move out of turn number 4. Moves into 6th spot. Lead continues to be held by John Gentry. Miller in the 43 has not been able to mount much of a challenge so far. Meredith X1 machine of Randy Sargent and the 31 of Donnell Burkhalter Jr. as we're now at the halfway point, halfway in our limited late model feature event. John Gentry hoping that his car won't fail him tonight like it did last night. A battle now for the 5th spot into turn number 1. Donnell Burkhalter Jr. trying to make the move around Randy Sargent. He dives to the inside into turn 3. Burkhalter stucks the nose right down in the low groove, trying to move around Sargent. Sargent fights him off in the high side. And Sargent leads yet another lap in that 5th spot, but here's Burkhalter down low. That car working very well out of the turn 2 area, and Burkhalter Jr. takes over the 5th spot from Randy Sargent. Gentry continues to hold a several car length lead on Dennis Miller. Miller trying to close in. Pete Orr and Ed Meredith hoping for a late caution flag here to try to make this close. Burkhalter Jr. now in the 5th spot. Next time by we'll have just 5 laps to go. 5 laps to go this time around. The 5 lap to go signal is out from starter Johnny Bass. Remains with John Gentry. And we've got a tangle in 3 and 4 right in front of your leaders. Gentry makes it through, Miller makes it through. The 2 cars that tangled, one down in the infield, the other up against the top wall, allowing plenty of room for everyone to get by. Tom Slattery in the 19, Matt Benz in the number 17, tangle it up. And this casts a whole new complexion on this feature event. John Gentry in the X2 puts the pedal to the metal in turn number 3. The green is out. We've got 5 laps to go. Gentry once again gets a little high off of turn 4. Dennis Miller right on his back bumper into turn number 1. Pete Orr runs into 3rd spot. Ed Meredith holding 4th. Burkhalter Jr. still running 5th. Miller, the one putting the pressure on now. Gentry slips up a little bit high once again out of turn number 4. Here's your battle for the lead. To the stripe, John Gentry still with the lead with 4 laps to go. Miller tucks down in on the low side. Gentry once again slips up to the high side, almost to the wall, and Miller takes over the lead going into turn 3. Pete Orr working down in the low groove, gets cut off by Gentry, and Gentry goes for a spin. And that brings out the yellow flag. Yellow is out. Right behind there in 2nd spot now. Donnell Burkhalter Jr. making a quick move here on the restart. Green is out. We're racing. Into turn 1, it is Dennis Miller with Ed Meredith right on his tail now. They leave Donnell Burkhalter Jr. several car lengths behind. Miller in the 43 has that car handling very well. Meredith down in that low groove. Miller gets a little out of shape in turn 4 and into turn number 1. Ed Meredith runs side by side with Miller. They battle side by side out of turn number 2. Less than 3 laps to go. Meredith on the inside, Miller on the high side. Meredith not giving any ground at all. Miller once again gets a little bit loose out of turn 4, almost loses it. And Ed Meredith takes over the lead into turn 1 with 2 laps to go. Here comes Donnell Burkhalter Jr. trying to make the move as well in the 31 machine. Those 3 cars running a tight freight train order into turn 3. The white flag is out. 1 lap to go on your leader, Ed Meredith, and he begins to pull away just a little bit by a car length into turn 1. Miller gets bumped from behind by Donnell Burkhalter Jr. Burkhalter moves up, puts a fender alongside. Will try for the pass in turn 3. The 2 cars bump and touch out of turn number 4. The checkered flag is out for Ed Meredith. Second spot to the 43 of Dennis Miller. Third to the 31 of Donnell Burkhalter Jr. Fourth going to the X1 of Randy Sargent. Fifth to the 72, Tom McCurry. Sixth to the 32 machine of Keith Storms. Seventh to Bill Kinley in the 17. Eighth to Dick Smith in the 24. Ninth to Eddie Harton in the 77. And rounding out your top 10 coming back from that earlier spin, the 27 of Pete Orr. So 4 nights and 4 different winners in the limited late models.
Hello.
Bringing the champion TV and appliance rental special into Victory Lane. Also sponsored by TJ's Pub and Russell Racing. We'll let him get out of the car. He's got to be a happy young man right now. He's got the helmet off. Here he comes, Ed Meredith, your winner tonight. Solidifying his point lead in the limited late model class. A great run for Meredith tonight, taking advantage of his experience here at New Smyrna Speedway. When Dennis Miller got a little bit out of shape there in turn 4, he was ready to jump right in there and grab the lead away. Here comes that big Justin Boot from Skip Shoes and Boots out onto the Speedway. We've got the Automotive One logo down there as well. They're fine sponsors of our racing here at the 1988 World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing.
97, 76, 19, 30, 27, bit blue for B, 3, 12, and 2.
Ed Meredith just picking up the Champion TV and Appliance Rental special sponsorship on that car, and he puts it into Victory Lane.
Yeah, ready to ride out.
His consistent running has put him in the point lead already, and this only solidifies that position, although we're only halfway through the series. But he definitely has been driving very smooth and looking real good, and is the definite favorite right now to pick up that point championship. Here we go, looking for a green flag. Starter Johnny Bass looks over where the green is out. We're racing. Into turn number 1, John Gentry jumps into the early lead in the X2. He has shown some early speed in most of our feature events, but has been suffering from some mechanical problems as well. Here they come out of turn 4. Gentry's car slides up into the higher groove, but he maintains the lead over Joe Copus. Eddie Harton runs 3rd. Nick Smith in the 4th spot, being challenged by the 25 of Ed Meredith. Tom McCurry in the 72 runs in the 6th spot. He now sets his sights on Nick Smith as Meredith has moved into the 4th spot. Meredith now challenging on the high side of Eddie Harton, and Meredith will move into 3rd on the back straightaway. And now closes in on your 2nd place runner, Joe Copus. Out of turn 4, Copus gets a little bit loose that time. Still able to hold off Meredith as they move into turn 1. Many of the faster cars moving up from the rear of the field. Chuck Burkhalter now underway in the 30 car. He dips underneath a Curry in the 72 and now makes the move on Nick Smith in the 24. He brings Randy Sargent right with him in the X1. And it looks like the 24 machine of Nick Smith is suffering some kind of a problem. He is slowing down considerably. Meanwhile, up front it is John Gentry in the X2. Ed Meredith has now taken the 2nd spot away from Copus. Copus runs in 3rd. The cars on the move right now are the 30 of Chuck Burkhalter and the X1 of Randy Sargent. Gentry still maintaining a rather sizable lead on Ed Meredith. Those 2 cars have pulled well away from the rest of the field. Look at this, 3 wide into turn 3. Close quarters. Here they come out of 4. Eddie Harton running that low groove is able to cut off the X1 machine of Sargent, but he will lose the 5th spot to the 30 machine of Chuck Burkhalter. Copus continues to hold on to 3rd, but he is now getting the challenge from Chuck Burkhalter. Here's Randy Sargent on the inside of Eddie Harton in the 77. They touch out of turn 4. Tight quarters back there in the middle of the pack. Tom McCurry, Anatoly Pivovansky, Sid Stites, Donnell Burkhalter Jr., and David Russell, along with Dennis Miller, all running right together. Here's a change in third spot. Chuck Burkhalter, now your third place car. And we have a problem on the turn 4 area. The 27B machine of Greg Cecil has spun around. Greg Cecil in the 27B spins around for our first caution flag of the event, 8 laps into it. Junior and the 36 car of David Russell. Caution still out. Caution is still out. Here we go. Green is out. We're racing. And Donnell Burkhalter Jr. in the number 31 has been set down a lap for jumping the restart. We have a change in the lead as John Gentry slides high at turn 2. And the number 25 machine of Ed Meredith moves out front. Meredith takes over the lead. Sid Stites in the number 18 is off the pace. Stites in the 18 car drops off the pace. And he is headed for pit side. Halfway mark coming out this time around. Halfway in our limited late model feature event. Your leader's Ed Meredith in the 25. John Gentry now starting to get pressure from the 30 machine of Chuck Burkhalter. Kopus in the 97 runs in 4th. 5th, Eddie Harton in the 77. 6th, the 72 of Tom McCurry. The 31 car of Donald Burkhalter Jr. is a lap down. Anatoly Pivovansky runs in the 7th spot in the number 8. And Kopus spinning around out of turn number 2. Backs the car back right onto the pit entrance and out of harm's way, but that'll bring out the caution flag. Caution on the speedway. And David Russell gets into the wall in turn 4. That'll bring out the caution flag. Something let go on the 36 car as it came out of turn 4. It steered right into the wall. And David Russell in the number 36's brand new car continues to have a lot of hard luck in this series. Opening night he blew a motor, and then tonight something lets go on the car and he goes into the wall in turn 4. So we're back under caution once again. 11 laps complete, still 9 to go. Eddie Harton unofficially running 4th as the green flag comes out. And getting a quick jump on the field, Meredith in the number 25. Gentry holding the 2nd spot, but Chuck Burkhalter right behind him in the 30. But right now it looks like it's all Ed Meredith's race. Once again, Gentry slides up a little bit high out of turn 4. Burkhalter looks down on the inside. And Chuck Burkhalter will go for 2nd into turn 1, and Chuck Burkhalter makes the pass. Burkhalter into 2nd in the 30. Harton in the number 77 getting into it with the 31 machine of Donnell Burkhalter Jr. And Tom McCurry trying to make the pass now with the 77 machine. Remember, the 31 car is 1 lap down for jumping an earlier restart. Meredith still your leader in the 25. Chuck Burkhalter has been unable to close the gap. John Gentry runs 3rd. Tom McCurry in the 4th spot. Unofficially in 5th, Eddie Harton in the 77. Then comes Anatoly Pivovansky in the 8 car. Ed Meredith comes by, and now 5 laps to go. 5 laps remaining for the 25 car of Ed Meredith. Meredith looking to score back-to-back wins and become the first driver to win 2 events in the limited late models here in the 1988 World Series. Meredith continues to pull away from the 30 machine of Chuck Burkhalter, leading now by half a straightaway. Gentry still holds 3rd. Tom McCurry running 4th behind the lap car of Donnell Burkhalter Jr.
Best battle on the track is for 6th between the 8th of Pivovansky and the X1 machine of Randy Sargent, as we've got 2 laps to go, 2 laps remaining. Here comes the white flag. 1 lap to go on your leader, Ed Meredith. Chuck Burkhalter running second. The X2 of John Gentry is your 3rd place car. He's into turn 3, out of turn 4, and we'll look for the checkered flag. And your winner, back-to-back feature wins for Ed Meredith. Chuck Burkhalter takes second in the 30. In for third, the X2 of John Gentry. 4th spot to the 72 machine of Tom McCurry. 5th spot unofficially to Eddie Harton in the 77, pending a review of the race tape. 6th spot to the X1 of Randy Sargent. 7th going to the 8 of Anatoly Pivovansky. 9th spot to the 32 of Keith Storms. So for the 2nd time in a row, the champion TV and Appliance Rentals TJ's Pub Special pulls into victory lane. We'll wait for him to unstrap and get out of the car here as he picks up yet another win at New Smyrna Speedway, and his 2nd this season in the 1988 World Series. There he is, everybody, Ed Meredith. Ed Meredith in the number 25, your winner tonight. Champion TV and Appliance Rentals, by the way, is going to be doing some great giveaways here with us. A lot of great giveaways. We're going to give away a TV, VCR, all courtesy of Champion TV and Appliance. The kid pouch.
Okay, here we go. Set to go. First feature event of the evening, going for 20 laps for the limited late models, and don't think we're going to get a start this time. Caution remains out on. Here we go. Looking for the green flag. Starter Johnny Bass looking him over. The green is out, and we're racing. Into turn 1, Joe Copas with the early lead in the 97. Randy Sargent moves up into second and will challenge down the back straightaway. Nick Smith in the 24 dropping back quickly. We go 3 wide momentarily into turn 3. Out of turn 4, your battle for the lead. And we've got some shuffling going on in the middle part of the pack. Battle for the lead as Randy Sargent tries to stick the X1 underneath the 97 machine of Copas. He'll get him going into turn 3. Chuck Burkhalter runs in the 3rd spot. Then it's Kinley in the 17 and Harton in the 77. Down the back straightaway, the challenge for second. Burkhalter to the high side of Copas. They race side by side out of turn 4. Eddie Harton also making a move up into the 4th spot around Kinley in the 17. Your leader's Randy Sargent in the X1 as Curtis Miller brings the 3 car down onto pit road. Randy Sargent leading the way. Chuck Burkhalter in second. Joe Copas runs 3rd. Then it's the 77 of Harton and the 72 of Akuri. They battle it out for the 4th spot. Here's Keith Storms making a move up into 6th now in the number 32. He brings 2-time winner Ed Meredith along with him in the 25 car. Sargent continues to motor well in front of the rest of the field. Some bumping and banging going on back there in that battle for the 4th spot. Tom McCurry Curry in the 72, and we've got a problem. Greg Cecil spinning around over in turn 3. Greg Cecil loses it in turn 3 of the 27B machine. That will bring out the caution and erase that big lead that Randy Sargent had built up in the X1 car, in the 36. And caution will stay out. Caution remains out. The hold up waiting for... Here we go, Chuck Burkhalter in the challenging spot now as the green is out. We're racing. Randy Sargent opens up some distance between himself and Burkhalter that time. Copa still runs third, but Eddie Harton and Tom McCurry both beginning to put the pressure on him. And a wholesale shuffling of spots here as they move out of turn 4 in a battle for third, fourth, fifth, and on back. It is Curry down to the inside, and Tom Curry makes the move, and here comes Keith Storms in the 32 car. Keith Storms also on the move in the number 32. He moves back out into the 4th spot as Copas continues to slide back. Here comes the number 30, the 25 machine of Ed Meredith. Donnell Burkhalter Jr. in the 31. John Gentry also in there as Eddie Harton in the 77 car got hung out to dry the last couple of laps, and he has moved well back in the field. Here's your leader, Randy Sargent in the X1, still racing unchallenged right now. They had some problems here in turn 4 as Eddie Harton off the pace. Harton off the pace in the number 77 collides with the 43 of Dennis Miller. This time by will be halfway. Halfway is the challenge now for third as Keith Storms in the 32 makes a move. Copa spins over in turns 3 and 4, and he has lost a motor. He has lost a motor, and we have got several cars crashing in the corner. Joe Copas losing a motor into turn 3. No smoke out of the car at all, so no warning for the drivers moving in there. Terry Cater was the first one to go around. He was hit right in the driver's door by Bill Kinley. And then the 33 machine, the brand new car for Dave Johnson, goes into the corner. He hit the brakes, but they were no good as he slid into both the 2 machine and the 17 car. Nick Smith also involved in the number 24. We will come down under the red flag. And you can see the oil just literally draining out of the number 97 machine as it's parked up there right between the 2 Coca-Cola insignias. Very serious situation when a motor blows like that and a car is going into a corner and there's no smoke. The drivers behind don't realize just what a condition the track is in. Smith's number 24 is on pit road still, following the altercation over in turn 3. And one car is still out of line. The 72 machine of Akuri should be running in front of the 32. So is the 32 machine of Storms. And the green is out. We're racing. Once again, Randy Sargent opens up a quick early lead. He and Chuck Burkhalter leave the rest of the field in their wake. Keith Storms in the 32 moves up a notch, and Donnell Burkhalter Jr. also trying to look to get under the 72 of Akuri at the halfway point, halfway in our 20-lapper for the limited late models. Now Chuck Burkhalter has reeled in the X1 machine of Sargent. One of his teammates, the 32 machine of Keith Storms, now runs in 3rd spot, and brother Donnell Burkhalter Jr. runs in 5th. Also set to make a challenge 2-time feature winner in the series so far, the 25 of Ed Meredith. But the top 2 cars have once again pulled away from the rest of the field, and now Randy Sargent starts to open up some distance between himself and Chuck Burkhalter. They will get set to put a lap on the 3 machine of Curtis Miller. Sargent still with 3 car lengths on the 30 machine of Burkhalter. The best battle on the speedway right now for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th spot. Donnell Burkhalter Jr. working all over the 72 machine of Akuri. Ed Meredith right in there as well. Here's Burkhalter working on the high side, looking to move into the 4th spot. But Akuri able to hold him off. Burkhalter this time looks to the inside. They tap bumpers as they go into turn 1. Akuri slides a little bit, but able to keep it under control. We've got another car losing a motor in turn 1. That's the 27B machine of Greg Cecil. So another motor letting go, the 27B machine of Cecil, this time with some smoke out of it. And Ed Meredith getting a quick jump on Tom Akuri in turn 3. As the green is out, we're racing. Randy Sargent, your leader in the X1. Then it's the 30 of Chuck Burkhalter, the 32 of Keith Storms, and the 31 of Donnell Burkhalter Jr. The team cars running 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. As we've got 5 laps to go, 5 laps remaining. Once again, Randy Sargent starts to open up some daylight between himself and Chuck Burkhalter. Burkhalter able to cut it down a little bit into the corners, but Sargent's car working much better coming off the turns. Burkhalter closes within half a car length as they go down the back straightaway. And now he is right on the tail of the X1 machine of Randy Sargent. They begin to move into slower lap traffic as we've got 3 laps to go. Burkhalter takes a look to the high side. He'll look low now, but they have to make a move around the lap machine of Miller. 2 more lap cars in front of them. Darrell Cole in the 76 and the slow-running Nick Smith in the 24. As there are now 2 laps to go. 2 laps remaining in our limited late model feature event. Burkhalter once again taking a little higher line off the corners. Sargent has his car down in the lower groove as the white flag comes out. 1 lap to go. Burkhalter gets a bumper on the X1 machine of Sargent out of turn 2, but Randy Sargent holds his ground. Out of turn number 4 and coming down for the checkered flag, the win will go to Randy Sargent in the X1. Chuck Burkhalter takes 2nd. Keith Storms in for 3rd. 4th spot going to the 31 machine of Donnell Burkhalter Jr. as the Murky's team takes 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Ed Meredith in the Champion TV and Appliance Rental Special, the 25 will take 5th, with 6th spot going to the 72 of Tom Akuri. So yet another different winner. Randy Sargent. His teammate John Gentry pulls up alongside to congratulate him. We'll await for him to get out of the car. The Skip Shoes and Boots logo, the Automotive One logo coming out. And here he comes out of the race car. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner this evening, Randy Sargent out of Beloit, Wisconsin. Becomes the 2nd non-Florida driver to take a win in the limited late model division in the beautiful X1 machine. Here comes that big Justin Boot from Skip's Shoes and Boots. And car smoking here on the front straightaway. Curtis Miller in the number 3. Some smoke out of that car. And the track crew will check the track here in turn 1 as Miller takes the 3 car to the pit area. Looking for a green flag out of turn number 4. The green is out. We're racing, 1 car spinning. It's the 2 machine of John Gentry.
You're going, Bubba, you got it.
He rides the wall right down the front straightaway. We've got another car spinning on the back straightaway. That's the X1 machine, the team car. Randy Sargent. So Gentry and Sargent both having their problems on the start. Here we go, the green is out, we're racing. It is Randy Sargent jumping out to the early lead in the X1, just like he did last night. Dennis Miller runs in the second spot. Ed Meredith holds third. Then it's the Burkhalter crew. And Donnell Burkhalter Jr. goes for a slide and into the turn 4 wall. Donnell Burkhalter Jr. in the 31 spins around and goes into the wall in turn number 4.
That was great when we went up to South Carolina and won that one.
All right, caution still remaining out on the speedway. Yeah, apparently we have the Burkhalter car out of line.
Just put him down and let us go.
Should be time will be the charm here. Starter Johnny Bass looks him over. They're out of turn 4. The green is out. We're racing. Once again, it's Randy Sargent jumping into the early lead in the X1. Then it's the 43 of Dennis Miller. Ed Meredith in the 25. Track conditions look to be awfully slick out there right now. Meredith moves through into the second spot around Miller and will now take up the chase on the X1 of Randy Sargent. And there goes John Gentry again. He gets tagged by the 30 of Burkhalter. He keeps going. Caution is now out, though. And I think we definitely need to check the track. We've got some fluid on the track right now. Cars are slipping and sliding all over the place. Here we go, back to green. One lap is complete. The leader is still Randy Sargent in the X1. Trying to wrap up this point title quickly here. Takes a look to the inside into turn 3. Not enough racing room right there. Dennis Miller runs in the third spot. Then it's Donnell Burkhalter Jr. in the 31. Keith Storms holds the 5th spot. David Russell runs 6th. Then it's Tom McCory and the 16 of Bruce Lawrence. Here they are out of turn 4 once again. The X1 of Sargent getting the challenge from Ed Meredith in the 25. Dennis Miller in third, but several car lengths behind your lead battle. Donnell Burkhalter Jr. trying to close in and hold off his teammate Keith Storms. Sargent coming by to complete lap number 5, 1/4 of the way through this one. He continues to hold off the 25 of Ed Meredith. Meredith, of course, protecting that car the best he can. He is the point leader, and if he finishes this race in any position, he will win the point title. Nick Smith in the 24 with some severe engine problems, and we've got some lap car problems in 1 and 2 for our leaders. Smith running very slow in the low groove. Pulls the car off the speedway on the back straightaway. Leader Randy Sargent, he's trying to make it 2 in a row this evening. Ed Meredith, so far the only 2-time winner in this division. He runs second, would like to make it 3 and wrap up the point title in a big way. Here's a battle for third. Miller trying to hold off the 31 machine of Donnell Burkhalter Jr. Keith Storms and the 36 of David Russell, they battle it out for the 5th spot. A whole series of 2-car battles. Moving down the back straightaway into turn 3 and out of turn 4. Randy Sargent, your leader, fights it out with Ed Meredith. Third place, Dennis Miller fights it out with Donnell Burkhalter Jr. And fourth place, Keith Storms fights it out with the 36 of David Russell. A lot of sparks coming out of the 32 car that time as it went into turn number 1. Russell this time looks on the inside, can't find the racing room. Once again, those sparks again from underneath the 32 car. I don't believe it's because it's bottoming out. Here is a challenge for third. Donnell Burkhalter Jr. moves on the inside, takes third spot away from the 43 machine of Dennis Miller as we're just past the halfway point, halfway in our limited late model feature event, the grand finale to Speedweeks 1988 here at New Smyrna Speedway. Something sparking, hanging loose or something on the back end of the number 32 machine. You can see it as it goes into turn 1. 13 laps now complete. Ed Meredith once again taking a peek to the inside of the X1 machine of Sargent. Donnell Burkhalter Jr. now in third, begins to pull away from Dennis Miller in the 43. Here's your lead battle into turn 1. Laps beginning to wind down. There'll be just 5 to go this time around. 5 laps remaining. Randy Sargent trying to bring home back-to-back victories in the World Series. Trying to hold off the World Series point champion Ed Meredith. Meredith once again right on the back bumper of Randy Sargent in the X1. Those laps are winding down. He's going to have to make his move if he wants to pick up the victory. They are well in front of your third place car, Donnell Burkhalter Jr. He will not be a factor in the finish. They move up to put a lap on the 76 of Darrell Cole and the 04 of Duke Southard. This time around, just 3 laps to go. 3 laps remaining. The X2 of John Gentry has called it quits. He's headed for the pit area. This time around, there'll be just 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go. Ed Meredith trying to put the pressure on once again on the X1 of Randy Sargent as the 2 lap to go signal is given by starter Johnny Bass. Here's the challenge into turn number 1. Meredith on the inside. They rub fenders. Lap car directly in front of them. It will be Buddy Whitford. He will not be a factor. They're into turn number 3 and they tangle going into the turn. Sargent goes into the wall. Randy Sargent runs into the wall, comes down across the track and is hit by the 32 of Keith Storms. Sargent with no control over that car at all, and Keith Storms with no place to go, trying to get out of the way. Duke Southard also spins around in the 04 car. He may have flattened a tire as well on that machine. So Randy Sargent in the X1 goes from leader to having a badly damaged race car. Meredith had made the pass going into turn number 3. The cars touched and Sargent's car shot up into the wall.
I was just sending it over. Okay, you're going to come over and sign too? Oh, okay. First you'll be here to flag me. Power. You found our vote? No.
I know, and they want to put the
Sergeant in the X1 has sustained some injuries, not of a serious nature, but serious enough that they are going to request that he be checked over at the hospital. So our ambulance is awaiting another ambulance, an evac ambulance at the back gate right now. Sergeant was able to get out of the car and walk to the ambulance. However, he was complaining of some pain. So they will take him as a precaution to the hospital and have him checked over. Keith Storm's car, the number 32, that one has definitely been shortened up. We may also award the race trophy to him as well. We'll find out, though, in 2 laps whether that will happen. Donnell Burkhalter Jr. right behind him. Dennis Miller behind him. And the green is out, and we're racing. And Chuck Burkhalter getting into it here with Bruce Lawrence out of turn 4. Meredith begins to motor away from the rest of the field. The white flag set to come out. 1 lap to go. 1 lap remaining. Ed Meredith cruising to his 3rd victory of the point series. Donnell Burkhalter Jr. runs in 2nd. They will finish in that order as the checkered flag comes out for Meredith. Burkhalter in 2nd. Miller in 3rd. Russell with the Lee Falk driving David Russell's car takes 4th. Tom McCory in for 5th in the 72. Then it's the 30 of Chuck Burkhalter, the 16 of Bruce Lawrence, and the 04 of Duke Southard. So a whole lot of trophies going to come out here right now for Ed Meredith in the number 25, our winner tonight. Also, our 1988 World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing Limited Late Model Point Champion.
Point champion.
Point champion, Dave.
In the Champion TV and Appliance Rentals Special out of Longwood, Florida. Here he is, everybody, Ed Meredith. Ed Meredith, your 1988 Limited Late Model Champion for the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing. The skip shoes and Western boots, Justin boot coming out right now. For Ed Meredith and his brand new car, a good start to the 1988 racing season. Ladies and gentlemen, we certainly would like to thank you for supporting the 1988 World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing. Of course, if you are with us here locally, we ask you to be right back out here next Saturday night at 8 o'clock for more great racing action. Just like we do 52 weeks a year here at New Smyrna Speedway. If you're from out of town, you're heading back up into the southern area like Georgia, the Carolinas, Alabama, or up into the frozen north or Canada. We certainly thank you for coming, and we look forward to having you back in 1989 for the 1989 World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing, which will be the 23rd annual. Please drive carefully on your way home or back to your motel, or if you're staying over in a camper at the Speedway, enjoy the Daytona 500 tomorrow. It should be a good one. And we'll see you next year for the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing.
Once again, our congratulations to our champions, Joe Shear in the late models, Tom Baldwin in the modifieds, Ed Meredith in the limited late models, and Robbie Clark in the Pro 4 mini modifieds. Good night, everybody.